Okay, we're back, and what I'm doing is I started to type in my comments for my next section to do some calculations. And when that didn't turn green, that made me a little nervous because, again, Notepad++ is going to try to color code things for you, and that should be green, and how everything else is grayed out down here makes me nervous, thinking that we have some sort of an error. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and look, and sure enough, on schultzcart.php, I'm missing an quote, and I've somehow gotten out of insert mode, and so I need to put my parentheses back in. And so that makes me feel a little bit better. Now I still am a little nervous about this do some calculations. And I want to show you this because you need to start paying attention what Notepad is trying to help you with. This is outside of our programming realm, and so what happens is this is out in the HTML realm, and that's why it's not acting like a programming statement in PHP. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that. I'm going to come in right here below where we checked to see if we had an error message. And now I'm going to put my a comment section in to where we can start doing our calculations. And so when we do this, all we really need to do is go through some basic math and then check to see what their shipping value is going to be according to the instructions in the lab. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate the subtotal. I'm going to set up a new variable named subtotal, and I'm going to say that is equal to the price that they entered multiplied by the quantity that they entered. Then I'm going to calculate the tax on that amount. I'm going to set up a variable named tax, and we're going to say that's equal to that subtotal that we just figured out. And I'm going to multiply that times our tax rate constant. I'm going to then set up the receipt total. This is going to be the subtotal, adding the tax to the subtotal. So I'm going to set that equal to the subtotal plus the tax. Now, I'm going to use that number to determine how much shipping I need to charge. So if it's less than or equal to $25, then I need to charge $8 in shipping. Or if it's less than that, then I need to charge, it's less than $50, then I need to charge $4, and then everything else is going to retain that zero that is left that we initialized up in the start of our program. So we're going to have to set up an if statement, and we're going to say if receipt total is less than or equal to 25. Don't forget that less than or equal to, because if they spend $25 exactly, they still have to pay $8 shipping. So I open up my curly brace and I close my curly brace, and inside here I just set up my shipping I changed my shipping variable to equal the amount that they're going to pay. So in this case they're going to pay $8. And then after that I'm going to say else if the receipt total is less than or equal to 50, I believe, then we'll open up and close our curly braces. Inside that we'll set shipping to 4. Now we don't have to check the last thing, because remember how an if-then statement works. If this is true, it does its business and then skips the rest of the structure. So if it's less than equal to 25, shipping's 8. If it's less than equal to 50, then shipping is 4. Everything else is going to be greater than 50 that makes it down. So you don't really actually have to check that. It doesn't hurt anything if you do another check on that and put the conditional in there, but it's not necessary. So I'm going to leave it out. All right. So then we have our final total number. We have our order total, and it's going to be equal to our receipt total plus whatever is currently stored in shipping. So we have all the information we need, and we can go ahead and use these variables now to fill in our output. But your instructions give you a little bit more to do with formatting. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some of these and format them properly. So let's look at our document down here. We have our name. Right now we have the name stored in two different variables, one name, first name, and last name. So we're going to have to concatenate those together. For date of order, we don't have that anywhere. So we're going to go ahead and use the date function to grab the current date for our date of order. Our product, we're just going to spit that back out using an echo statement, and the same for our quantity. But we're going to format our subtotal, our tax, our shipping, and our total due using one of the normal formats. We're going to add a $, and then we're going to format our variable with 2 decimal places. So we're going to go ahead and set up a new section, and I meant to hit the slash, format output. So it tried to add something for me. So just backspace over that and hit enter if Notepad is trying to help out with programming statements. So I'm going to set up a new variable. I'm going to do full name is going to be equal to first name, and then the concatenation symbol, which is the period. I'm going to do a quote, space, and quote because I want it to concatenate a space in between the first and last name. And then I need to concatenate on the last name. So I do the period and I tell it to grab last name. And so now I have the first space last name stored in a variable named full name. We're going to get the date, and we're going to set that equal to the date function. And inside the date function, we're going to tell it that we want it in a certain format. Those formats are listed in your textbook, so you can choose one. I don't specify in the instructions which one you need to use. So just choose one that you like. So then we're going to format our subtotal and our tax and our shipping and our total using our number format. So I'm going to go ahead and set up a variable named subtotal F for formatted. And I'm going to have that be equal to, and I'm going to physically print a $, and then I'm going to concatenate on our subtotal, but we're going to use the function number format. And we're going to feed our subtotal variable into that, and we're going to tell it to use 2 decimals. Again, this is covered in your textbook under formatting data. And it's pretty straightforward. And so we'll do this for the other ones. We'll do tax in a formatted variable. That's also going to be equal to a $, with the number format. And this time we will feed in the tax amount, and we will put in 2 decimal places for that one as well. And I don't like that that didn't turn colors, and that's because I looked back here and I used a double quote instead of a single quote. You can use either, but you have to be consistent. You can't use them both at the same time. So let's do our shipping formatted. We're going to set that equal to the $, again, number format, and we're going to send in the shipping again with 2 decimal places, and then finally we're going to format our total, set that equal to the $, use the number format function to set our order total to 2 decimal places. All right, so we have what we need, and all we have left to do is to put this into our form down here. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down here, and after each of these statements, or each of these labels, we're going to open up a PHP tag. We're going to use the echo statement to output it, and then we're also going to use the HTML special characters. Again, we'll use that throughout. Special cars. And then we're going to tell it to put in that new variable of full name. And then we close, we close our PHP tag. Still having trouble closing that PHP tag. There we go. All right, so we're going to do pretty much the same thing using our formatted data. So what I'm going to do to save a little bit of time is I'm going to copy that statement, and I'm going to paste it on the end of each of these labels, those that we created using HTML. And all I really need to do is to come in here and change the variable that we're outputting. So we did full name here. In this case, I'm going to highlight that and change it to date. Highlight this and change it to product name. I think that's what I named it. I'll have to check. We'll change quantity ordered to quantity, and we'll change subtotal to subtotal F. We'll change this to tax F. Remember, those are our formatted variables. We'll change this to our shipping. Oops, have an extra $sign in. Shipping F. And finally, we'll change this to our total F. Let me just check to make sure total F is what I had, and let me double check to make sure product description is what I named it. Product name and product name. So I'm going to go ahead and stop there. I'm going to go ahead and go check for errors, and then what I'm going to do is show you the errors as I find them, and then show you how to debug these things. So that will be in video number 3.